Hello and welcome to my Yugioh channel. Today we're looking at the brand new cards which are being used to support the structure deck used for the anniversary of Yu-Gi-Oh! Zeal. The first card is number 99 Utopia Dragner. It's a rank 12 light attribute warrior type Xyz monster. It's got 3000 attack and 3000 defense. It requires 3 level 12 monsters to summon it, and you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. One, as a quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card. Special summon one number monster that has a number between 1 and 100 inclusive in its name from your extra deck. This is treated as an Xyz summon. During the turn you activate this effect, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except Xyz monsters. Also, your other monsters cannot attack directly. 2. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can change its attack to 0. The good thing about this card is, for the first effect, this lets you just bring out any of your number monsters regardless of the summoning conditions. You don't need to have all these annoying levels, you don't have to meet any of these annoying conditions. But remember that these number monsters won't have their materials on them, so they won't be able to use their effects. There are a couple of exceptions to this, namely the one that I can think of that's kind of staring me in the face is number 9 at Dyson Sphere. It's one of those monsters that doesn't so much have an effect in certain respects, in that, for example, it can attack your opponent's life points directly if they happen to have anything that is stronger than your Dyson Sphere, so anything above 2800, and it can attack directly. It also has the benefit of, when it's attacked, being able to recover materials to itself and then detach one to negate the attack, so it's a means of being able to cheat that card out, and it can recover its own materials by itself. There are probably another couple of examples which have like continuous effects that don't really rely on their Xyz effects or their materials so much. But if you're looking to have materials on those cards, you'd have to run things like Overlay Regen or other examples, such as maybe Xyz Reborn, things like that, just to get those materials off. It's fine as an effect, but you have to be running very specific number cards to maximize from this. The secondary ability is actually also very useful because it zeroes out your opponent's attack. That's very useful if you want to be able to destroy one of your opponent's monsters, especially if they don't read these cards and just go and attack into this card. My only concern is it does require 3 level 12 monsters, but I'm sure with some of the further support that's listed below, that will be made easier. Hyper Rank Up Magic Hope Force is a normal spell card with the effect, you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name once per turn each. 1. Target 1 rank 9 or lower Utopia monster you control. Special summon 1 rank 10 or higher Utopia or Utopic Xyz monster from your extra deck by using that monster you control as material. This is treated as an Xyz summon. Transfer its materials to the summoned monster. 2. If an Xyz monster is special summoned by a rank 10 or higher Utopia or Utopic Xyz monster's effect, and this card is in your graveyard, you can target one of those summoned monsters, attach this card to it as material. So remember what I was saying about how you're able to cheat out the rank 12 version? This is the example. You just rank it up from one of maybe your original Utopia, which is a rank 4, and that means it gains potentially the 3 materials that you need from that card. It also benefits from the secondary ability because you're able to then go into one of your other number monsters. Through Dragner's ability, you're able to then bring out an Xyz monster that happens to be a number, and you're able to use this card from the graveyard as an Xyz material. That means you're not left with no materials to use their effects with. And the final support card is Zeal Field. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn, and it's a field spell card. 1. Your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to the activation of your cards and effects that target an Xyz monster you control. 2. If an Xyz monster is special summoned to your field, you can target one of them, attach one Xyz monster from your extra deck or graveyard to it as material. And 3. During your draw phase, before you draw, you can place one Shining Draw from your deck onto the top of the deck. So this is very useful in some respects. It does provide you with its first and secondary abilities, the ability to not only protect your Xyz monsters whenever you're trying to use anything to revive them or equip them with things. It stops your opponent from disrupting your plays. The secondary ability lets you attach an Xyz monster as an Xyz material. It's a little strange because you're essentially saying that your other Xyz monsters are a bit worthless and you're just going to use those as materials. Very bizarre, and it might be a bit more difficult to actually recover those monsters from the graveyard as they haven't first been properly summoned. I know there are examples you can use through this effect, but it's a little bit more complicated than that. And the final effect to be able to draw out your Shining Draw. It's neither here nor there. I know it's another support card for Yuma's deck, but it's not overly that powerful. And here you've got examples of the reprinted cards. So the first one is a reprint and an alternate artwork of number 39. If you remember with most of the number cards, when they're summoned, they have these weird kind of reactions and these weird, shapes attached to them. Most of them had this version, and this is the example given for Utopia. We might see examples for number 17 Leviathan Dragon, number 32 Shark Drake, or even for like number 62, which is Galaxy Eyes, Prime Photon Dragon, which is one of Kite's support cards, maybe in the future as well, alongside in the structure deck. You also have Zubaba Knight, you've got Gagaga Magician, Gagaga Girl, Gagaga Clark, Go Golem, Shining Draw, Double or Nothing, and High Five the Sky. I love the design of these cards, and I'm glad that they're not just supporting generic Utopia cards and actually helping to support the number cards. There are a few of them that are very forgettable, considering that there are 107 of which are in total. That's not including the variations attached to Utopia, which I'm sure there are at least 7 or 8 different versions of that card alone. You've got a ranked down version in Utopic Roots, and then you've got Dragner as like the biggest boss monster. You've got a rank 10 in there as well, which is like a dragon version as well. And so I do feel that a number of these monsters have been lost within the ether. Glad there's going to be some support for them. And hopefully there'll be a little bit more support as we see in the future with the structure deck. Whatever you guys think of these cards, leave them down below. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content.